You're standing in front of the mirror, adjusting a collar that costs more than your car payment. You're not really checking how you look. You're checking how you'll be perceived. You straighten your posture, fix the angle, study your reflection. Not for yourself, but for the version of you that other people will judge. The one who has it together. The one who made it. The one who doesn't struggle. You step outside and feel it immediately. The weight, not of the clothes, of the image. The quiet pressure to maintain it, to keep up the pace, to never let the mask slip. You buy the watch, you upgrade the car, you say yes to the dinner you know you shouldn't. And for a moment, it works. Heads turn, questions get asked. You feel elevated, validated, like you've stepped into a higher level. But then you get home. The room is quiet, too quiet. You open your banking app and stare at the numbers. The math doesn't care about the image. And suddenly it hits you. You're not living your life. You're financing a performance. You're standing in a store again, holding something you didn't plan to buy. Maybe it's a designer bag, the newest phone, shoes with the right logo. You look at the price and your stomach tightens. Rent is due. Your account is thin. Savings feel like a myth. You know it doesn't make sense. You know you can't afford the lifestyle attached to it. And yet, you swipe. Not because you need it, but because you need what it signals. Control, status, arrival. You want people to believe you're ahead because a part of you is scared they'll see you're not. That's the psychology. Let's be real. Status maintenance is everywhere. Here are the most common ways people perform wealth they don't have. The logo game. The most visible form of status signaling is wearing logos. Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Balenciaga. People spend months of rent on a single item. Not for the quality, not for the comfort, but for the 3 letters printed on the front. The logo becomes a billboard that says, "I have money." Except in most cases, the person wearing it is drowning in debt. The car signal. A car is no longer just transportation. It's identity. People lease cars they can't afford because they want the symbol, not the vehicle. A BMW on a lease. $800 a month, barely any savings. But to the outside world, he must be doing well. The car says what the bank account doesn't. The social media illusion. Instagram and TikTok turn status performance into a 24/7 broadcast. The business class seat screenshot, the hotel rooftop photo, the rented Lamborghini for a 1-hour photo shoot. Social media created a world where the appearance of wealth can be manufactured for a few $100s. And millions of people are competing in this arena daily, burning real money to fake an image. The restaurant and lifestyle flex. Going to the most expensive restaurant in town, not because the food is better, but because being seen there means something. Paying for everyone's dinner when you genuinely can't afford your own. The desire to appear generous and successful in the moment while slowly sinking financially. The fake it till you make it trap. Dress for the job you want, not the job you have. There's a grain of truth to this. But it gets weaponized. It becomes a justification for spending beyond your means, buying first-class confidence on an economy budget. The problem? You never actually make it, because every step forward financially is eaten up by the performance of already being there. The psychology. Why we actually do this. This isn't about stupidity. This isn't about weakness. This is deeply wired human psychology. Let's break it down. Social comparison theory. Psychologist Leon Festinger identified in the 1950s that human beings have a fundamental drive to evaluate themselves, and we do it by comparing ourselves to others. We don't just want to be okay, we want to be okay relative to the people around us. When everyone around you seems to be doing well, the psychological pressure to match them becomes almost unbearable, even if it destroys you financially. Identity and self-worth. For many people, especially those who grew up without money, wealth becomes deeply tied to self-worth. Owning expensive things is a way of saying, I made it. I'm not that person anymore. I'm worth something. The purchase isn't really about the item. It's about healing an old wound. The problem is that no amount of shopping fixes a self-worth issue. The fear of being found out. Psychologists call it imposter syndrome, the deep fear that people will discover you're not as successful, competent, or wealthy as they think. The expensive watch, the designer clothes, the luxury car, they become armor, a shield against being exposed. The more insecure the person feels internally, the more extravagant the external display. Dopamine and the purchase high. When you buy something, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical involved in addictive behavior. The anticipation of the purchase is often more powerful than the purchase itself, which is why that expensive thing brings you happiness for 2 weeks, then you need the next fix. Shopping as status signaling isn't just a social behavior, it's neurological. It literally feels good in the moment. Social media as an accelerant. Every like, every comment, every "you look amazing" is a dopamine hit. Social media turned status performance into a game with real-time scoring. You post the picture, you get the validation. You need more. Platforms are literally engineered to keep you in this loop, because engagement equals profit for them, and status anxiety keeps you engaged. Cultural and societal programming. From the time you were a child, you were taught, by TV, by movies, by music videos, by advertisements, that success looks a certain way. The mansion, the sports car, the yacht, the private jet. We absorbed a visual language for success that was invented by marketers to sell you things. And most of us have never stopped to question whether we actually want those things, or whether we've just been told to want them. Breaking the cycle. Awareness is the first step, but awareness alone doesn't change behavior. Here's what actually works. Step 1. Separate identity from possessions. Ask yourself, if I lost everything I own tomorrow, who would I be? If the answer is frightening, that's the problem. Your value as a human being is not a balance sheet. You are not your car. You are not your watch. You are not your shoes. The moment you truly believe that, the compulsive need to signal wealth through objects begins to dissolve. Step 2. Redefine what looking rich means. The most attractive and impressive thing a person can have is not a luxury item. It's options, freedom, peace of mind, being able to say no to a job you hate, being able to take care of your family without panic. Start aspiring to the things that genuinely wealthy people actually have, not the things they allegedly own. Step 3. Audit your influences. Curate your social media feed ruthlessly. Unfollow accounts that trigger consumption anxiety. Follow people who talk about building wealth, not displaying it. Your environment shapes your psychology more than almost anything else. You cannot win a comparison game that you choose to keep playing. Step 4. Pause before every major purchase. Before buying anything significant, ask 3 questions. 1. Am I buying this because I genuinely want it, or because of how it will make others perceive me? 2. Will this matter to me in 12 months? 3. What could I do with this money instead? Not to punish yourself, but to create a pause between impulse and action. That pause is where real financial change begins. Step 5. Build real wealth quietly. Start investing in things that grow invisibly. Savings, skills, investments, a business, your health. These don't photograph well. They don't get likes. But in 5 years, 10 years, they create the kind of life where you genuinely don't need to perform. Because the confidence is real. The freedom is real. The security is real. Step 6. Find a community that doesn't play the game. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If those 5 people are all in a spending competition, you'll stay in one too. Find or build a community where what's celebrated is real progress, real honesty, real financial growth. That environment changes everything. Here's the truth that the people selling you things don't want you to know. The most powerful thing you can do is stop caring what people think about what you own. Not because you're poor, not because you've given up, but because you're playing a completely different game. A game where the goal isn't to look successful in the next 5 minutes, it's to be free in the next 5 years. Looking rich is a full-time job that pays nothing and costs everything. Being rich, really, quietly, securely rich, requires only one thing: caring more about your future than your image. Start today, not by buying something, by choosing not to.